following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Hi, welcome to Ring and All Other Sports. My name is Leo Connors. I'm your host, and my co-host, my partner here, Derek Dukes.
What's up?
We got a few things to talk about, but I'd like to start off with the Celtics real quick.
Oh man,
you know,
can't believe the Irish luck, shall we call it? Right? Wow, man, crazy.
Game 5 was just ridiculous.
Unbelievable.
Bad, you know?
Unbelievable.
I mean, games 3 and 4 were great. We as most people do know, the Celtics were down 2-0. They won Game 3. They won Game 4. Game 5 was a total disaster.
Oof. I mean, thank God for Game 4. What was it? 33.8 seconds left or something. That was crazy comeback. Thank God, but oh boy, Game 5, man.
I'll tell you, Rob. They play tonight in Game 6, as this is being taped. This is the 27th or 28th?
Yes.
Today. Which one?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So it's either the 27th or the 28th.
Well, today is the 28th.
Oh, thank you,
All
Derek.
right.
Okay.
You're welcome.
So,
Day behind myself.
yeah, me too.
Thanks.
But so hopefully they can come back tonight. You know what I mean, and play the way they did in Games 3 and 4. Because I'll tell you right now, if they don't get some type of confidence from tonight and win tonight,
please.
Game 7 is going to be a real hard game to win.
No matter what, you look at.
And we haven't beat Atlanta in Atlanta at all this year.
Nope.
So we beat them at home,
Yep.
but we haven't beat them on their court.
Right.
So go Celtics. You know,
baby.
Isaiah Thomas, I hope you have a better game than you did the other night. Not blaming anybody.
Nope.
This just happens, you know, because if we could get Avery Bradley back, if we could get to the next round,
right?
no, but if we could get to the next round, the Celtics could go somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not going to go very far without Avery Bradley.
Well, first of all,
They're not.
no one thought they'd make it this far with the team we had.
Yes, exactly.
Look where we are right now.
We weren't even supposed to make the playoffs.
They weren't even close to making it. So you know what? I give them props to where they are. I give them props to what they're doing. They're trying hard. You know, they're hitting that court hard. They're doing their thing, but they just keep coming up short.
Yeah, and speaking that you brought that up, like, you know, how we weren't supposed to even, like, you know, we weren't supposed to make
it.
the playoffs.
Nope.
I still can't believe that Steve Kerr, on the greatest team in the league, wins Coach of the Year, and Brad Stevens doesn't. I don't understand that
either.
one bit.
Nope.
I don't.
Nope, not at all.
But what are you going to do?
Nope,
you know what I mean?
not at all.
I think Brad Stevens is a great coach. A lot of people were like, why are they hiring this kid? I bet you every single person that said that is going, that's why.
Now that's why they hired him.
That's why,
Yep.
because he's fantastic.
Yes.
All right, Derek's going to lead us into the next story, which is
wow. This is a shoot. This is actually happening as we speak. And it was just an alert that I got because, of course, in professional wrestling, you get a lot of alerts from people, so on and so forth. I try to stay, even though I'm not in it full time anymore.
You're still in it.
Still talk to people, which we'll get into about. Oh
right.
my God!
Oh yeah!
Can't wait, brother.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
So what we have now is we have a man walks into the Ring of Honor headquarters with a bomb strapped to his chest. So what the report is saying is this crazy guy walks in. He's in like a full scrubs with the mask on. And he's saying, you know, like a hedgehog outfit. The guy probably just a wacko.
Yeah.
But you know what? Nowadays, no matter what happens, they take all this seriously about the bomb threat.
You have to.
So the guy is screaming about this and that, and he's got a thumb drive in his hand, and he wants to talk. He wants to be out loud. So pretty much the guy was saying about Earth and this and being liquids and black holes. The guy was just going, you know, cuckoo, pretty much what it is. And government thing, what did they do? Said the guard. So, unfortunately, as much as I don't like, I hate when things end the wrong way.
Yeah.
And this was just updated right before we got on. So the update is the Baltimore police say that they had to shoot this man because he refused the demands by police. Smith says the suspect is still alive at this time and the situation is not secure. So, unfortunately, we don't know what's going on.
Right.
But what we do want to say is there's no Ring of Honor personnel or anyone was injured during this.
That's
but
good.
As much as this guy's a nutcase and everything's going on, we don't wish death on someone like that.
Anyone.
No, and the police had to do what they had to do.
Right.
But unfortunately, let's hope the guy pulls through. But again, please, no Ring of Honor personnel or anything was injured. Nobody was injured. The guy was
Thank
just
God.
a little loopy, and he just wanted to be heard. And probably wanted his, what do they call it, the 50 minutes of fame?
Yeah.
Well, this guy got 15 seconds of fame.
He got 15, and I wonder, was
know?
he even a wrestling fan? Because it doesn't, you know what I mean? Like, he didn't talk about wrestling.
Exactly. And, it says nothing about wrestling, nothing about, why would you do, he walks in.
He just walked into any place. That's what it was
He wants
all
to
about.
talk about astronomy, black holes, the sun, and about it being liquid and gas, and just wanted to say that the government was wrong in thinking the way they do. This guy was just cuckoo.
Yeah.
But the thing is that you don't walk in and go, oh, I got a bomb, and, supposedly, had a bomb, and a message is needed, they heard, said security. I mean, it's just terrible. I'm sorry it had to end like that. Which,
yeah, definitely.
Like,
I don't want to see anyone get hurt.
No matter what. I know the guy's probably a little loopy, and
well, don't forget to say there was a car on fire also. They were saying.
Oh my
so
God.
I don't know if the guy lit his car on fire before he went in the building.
Before he went in, because they're saying that the outfit had a mask on, claiming
we'll
he had a
have more
bomb.
of the story next week. We'll update it.
He had a flash drive, so on and so forth. Okay, the vehicle outside the building was also on fire. Police are currently looking into the situation. So the guy probably set his car on fire. Then went inside and said, "Hey, look, I want to be heard."
Do you think he was looking to be shot too, though? Honestly, because I mean, you should know. But then again, like you said, he's probably a whack job. Obviously,
there's a name for that, death by cop or something.
Yeah.
It's actually
death by
something like that.
It's like death by suicide, but suicide by cop.
That's
suicide
it.
by
That's
cop.
it.
See,
so,
sometimes we get it right.
And a guy like this, and like I said, we don't wish harm on anyone like that.
No one.
I mean, even my profession, what we do, what we do is scripted.
Yeah. But
and
people get hurt.
They do get hurt. What we do is scripted, and we do talk to each other in the ring. We talk to each other out back. Yeah, stuff does happen, so on and so forth, because no one is perfect.
Right.
But we don't wish anyone like this.
Never.
We don't wish any harm.
And especially it hits home to me, mental. You know what I mean?
Oh,
mental health.
yes,
it hits
course.
home for me. I won't get into it, but it really does.
Yes,
it
does.
And I don't wish that on anybody, because I know what mental health.
You
can
know,
do to a
hands-on,
person.
man. Hands-on.
It's a tough thing.
And it hurts and it kills you.
Yeah.
Especially what you had to deal with,
Right.
and so on and so forth.
Yep.
So when it happens to someone personally, you know where this guy is, man.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You don't know what he's thinking.
No.
But you've been there.
Oh yeah, I've been there.
It's
I've
terrible.
been there.
Terrible thing,
Yep.
brother.
So
salute.
And I hope you get better, buddy. Hope mentally and everything.
Yeah, definitely.
But Derek, I definitely want to touch up on it. I went to a show. I went to the NXT last Thursday. First of all,
oh man,
what a show that was! And I talked about it a little last week with my grandson Jade. Got to meet Biff, Chris Gerard back outside. He came over. I called him over. I'm like, Biff. He comes over. He's like, thanks for coming out, man. Great to see you guys, because he knew Jade too.
And how's he feel being home?
Oh, it was awesome. I said, we had to come. I said, I love
who'd they put him with?
Tommaso.
You believe
and I'll
it?
tell you, what a match. You should have heard I told him, you should have heard the pop. That place exploded when Tommaso, he came out first.
So Tommaso laid down, right?
Yes. Which is good in a way, because everybody knows Tommaso's already gone over and won plenty of matches on NXT.
Oh, God, yes.
So it's nice to see Chris getting it.
Right.
Because I'll tell you, man, the match was incredible. It was the match of the night.
Oh,
it was. And Joe won the title that night against Balor.
My God.
And I'm not just saying it because they're local. It was match of the night. The shock of the night, though, was when Joe won the title. Because I didn't see it coming, man.
Why would you?
He's got to be coming to the roster, dude. Finn, he's got to be coming.
Because you know why? Because Gallows and Anderson are already up.
Yes.
And AJ's already playing the role with them. So I'm thinking, well, first of all, he's a baby over at NXT.
Yeah.
So maybe he'll come up as the baby, like with AJ, and then all of a sudden he'll turn on AJ.
That's what I'm thinking. How they turned on AJ in Japan, they'll probably do the same.
Well, pretty
thing
much.
I don't want to keep ruining it for people, but it's the truth.
No, but you know what?
It's
a shoot. It's what it is.
Exactly.
And what happened was, in which how they do in professional wrestling, everybody knew AJ was going over in Japan. Excuse me, I meant coming over. He was going to work for NXT, which is the WWE.
Right.
So what did they do? They turned on him, beat him down, so on and so forth, and walked out, which AJ left that day.
Right.
So
and didn't even come to NXT. Went right to the main roster, which was great.
Can you believe that?
I was so happy. I was, because I don't think nothing. NXT's great.
It is,
and all that.
Amen.
But it was nice to see him just make it to the roster, because you can't all put everybody down there. They have a great roster down there. They didn't need AJ. Honestly, the WWE is what they needed AJ.
Correct.
Badly.
Because of everyone that keeps getting injured.
Yes.
I mean, look at we got 2 Wyatts down.
Yeah.
I mean, everything is happening. So, which is nice to see certain people, with AJ, you saw AJ come right over.
Yes.
Great. I'm so glad, because I don't know about you, and I wasn't expecting it. And I heard nothing on the inside.
Right.
And when he come out, what did he come out? The Rumble?
The Rumble, number 3.
I mean,
So
that
he came out early. In
that
the
was
Rumble.
ridiculous. And
I popped.
I popped too.
I did. I
And
popped.
I'll mark out to AJ.
Yeah,
and,
I hear you.
You know, and it kills
Such
me
a
too.
nice guy.
Even when I worked in Orlando, and I worked for TNA quite a few times, especially around here and in Orlando.
Right.
I didn't get close with AJ, and I think that kind of sucks because I really wish I kind of did.
Yeah, because he's a good guy.
And trust me, I've spoken with him quite a few times
Right.
when we were backstage. You know, I made it. We'll get into Philly because
Yeah,
we'll
definitely.
talk to Storm and them.
Yep.
And it just, I really wish I kind of got to know him a little better because I love his work. I love who he is as a talent.
Right.
And there's just, thank God, they're finally seeing the real talent that's out there.
About
And
time.
they're going, you know what? Okay, I need
About
him. I
time.
need him. I need him. And now, finally, I mean, what's Balor been? 2 years in NXT now?
Yeah, at least.
Listen,
maybe longer, to be honest with you.
Not that he didn't deserve the main roster,
right.
but they needed someone of Balor's stature
To build
down
it,
there.
to
Correct.
build it. They needed to
Correct.
build up NXT, and they did. They built it up.
Because you
boy.
got to remember, he's the original
Yeah.
Bullet Club member they
Yeah.
stole from
Right.
Japan,
Yep.
from
Yep.
IWGP.
Yep.
And then when they started that, then they just started moving. I mean, they got everybody but the, what's the tag team called again?
The Young Bucks.
The Young Bucks. That's
Young
the only
Bucks.
two they didn't
And-
grab.
And Tama Tome or whatever. I forget that.
Yeah, but you know what?
I'm just saying, but he's part of the Bullet Club. He is.
Yeah, but you know, I think they're watching him. I've noticed they've been putting a lot of.
You know who I heard they're
eyes
watching
on
real
him.
quick, seeing that we talked about Biff a minute ago? Teddy Goods.
You think so?
There was an article on him, and I think, well, I don't know if it was sports. Somewhere that I read the article.
Oh.
Teddy Goods is being looked at.
Really?
They formerly known as the Ladies' Man.
Correct. Right.
You know, Biff's best friend and tag team partner
And
podcast co-host.
Right.
I
And
love
I
their
love it. I
podcast.
love how they do that thing, and it's the fact of the matter of I also kind of like when people see who they are. Like when you
Right.
said Biff Busick.
Yeah.
Who?
Right.
And when he come out on NXT, he was his shoot name.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Shoot means real.
Yeah. Chris
When we-
Gerard.
Right, when we're talking about professional wrestling, shoot means real. If I'm working, if we call it a work, it's pretty much like when you used to see Hulk Hogan go, let me tell you something, brother, and do all that stuff, and he talks to the camera, I'm going to come get you. That's a work. When we call a shoot is like, of course, my name is Derek Dukes. That's my wrestling name.
Right.
But my shoot name is Derek Plourde.
Right.
But if you go into a back room, go into an ECW back room
Oh,
and
yeah,
go,
no.
oh, Derek Plourde's here. They go,
Who?
who's here?
Yeah. Right.
Oh, Dukes is here. Can't wait, you know?
Right.
So it's pretty much a shoot name. And I think he's doing a great job over there, by the way.
I think so.
Great job.
Great job. So, like I said, we went to the NXT with Jade. I didn't take Jade to the next show that I went to. Sunday, I went to Beyond Wrestling. They had an event called Head Over Heels. I got the results here. I want to talk a little bit about it. The show opened up with Brian Fury as he defeated Drew Gulak, who I really enjoy watching wrestle. Drew is a really great technical wrestler. Have you ever seen Drew wrestle?
Is he a local boy?
No, from Philly. From Philly.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Just CZW and all that, Chikara.
Oh.
I heard a little something that he was under a hood later on in the show, but I won't say who. You can probably figure it out when I give the results.
Right, exactly.
But that was a good match. Brian went over. It was really good. It was nice to see Brian go over because Drew's got a good name out
You say
there.
Brian was put over? Really?
Yeah, Brian went over. Brian won. It was great to see him, go over. Actually, he came over and said hi to me afterwards, so it was cool. It was good to see you. I was like, nice to see you too, Brian. Next up, we had a tag team match. Chuck O'Neal and Eric Splicey defeated the Cam and Connection.
Oh, that's right.
I almost messed it up like you, Rich, the other night, teasing you.
Zigonami.
Yeah, Can Zaganami.
Zaganami.
And Anthony Green.
That's it.
Yeah, they're a good team. Good, young, good-looking kids.
They work together pretty well.
Yeah, and that kid and Cam is on that True Grit, John Cena show.
John Cena show.
I haven't caught it yet, but I think I'm going to try to watch a little of it this weekend.
Yeah.
Just to check it out. I'd like to see the local kids do good. You know what I mean?
Well, no
It's
matter
kinda
what.
cool. Right, exactly. But so that was a good match. Chuck O'Neal, I guess, is and Eric Splicey. I guess they're both MMA guys.
Oh,
I know
okay.
Chuck O'Neal is for sure,
Okay.
but somebody told me Eric Splicey is too.
So they're MMA guys who are learning to be pro
Yeah,
wrestlers.
but they weren't the only MMA guys on there.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
Next up, we had Anthony Stone. I don't know if you ever seen Anthony, but he looks like Jesus. Okay?
Yes. Okay. Yep.
I was screaming out hardcore Jesus because he
Yep.
screamed it out when I went to the Lucky Pro
Yep.
show a few weeks ago.
Yep.
But he teamed up with Dave Cole, which was awesome because I haven't seen Dave Cole in a long time. Used to be in the Canadian Superstars with Jay Buster.
Oh, with Buster.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I love that team
Mhm.
back in the day. I used to love giving Jay Buster crap, and he
Yep.
knows it. So You know, so if you're watching it, you know I was all a shoot. I mean, it was all a work.
He
giving you a hard
loved
time.
it.
Yeah,
he loves that stuff.
Yeah, but they took on the Hoods, Davey Cash, and oh come on, I don't want to do this to the kid. Davey Cash and
I don't know that.
I know. I'm sorry for not remembering your name right now, and I should have wrote it down, but I wrote it down real fast. I've been busy at work this week like crazy, but it was a pretty good match. I love giving the Hoods a hard time. You know what I mean? Because they, like I said, the name pretty much explains it all.
Oh, they're heels?
You know? Yeah, they're hood rats. You know what I mean?
Okay, I got you.
You know,
yep.
little white gangsters.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
But they did a good job. It was a pretty good match. Entertaining. It was definitely entertaining, and I'm really sorry that I get your name, and I promise next week I'll make sure I do. If it comes back to me today, but I definitely will give your name out next week. I'm really sorry. The next match had Tommaso Ciampa came out.
Oh, wow.
And he took on John Silver. John Silver's a really smaller, compact, really jacked. You know what I mean? Great match. Tommaso had a bad week, even though, like you said, it's a work. You know what I mean? As John Silver went over, and I'll tell you, that was a great match.
Is Silver a local guy too?
Oh no, I think he's from the East Coast though.
Okay.
You know what I mean? He's somewhere down. They said it, and I probably didn't hear
right.
It, you know.
Right.
But it was a really, really good match. A lot of people were saying it was match of the night. It probably was. Okay. Seriously, it was. But there were so many good matches. Honestly, all of them were great. They really were. So it's really hard to say which one was the match of the night. Because when the matches are that good, it's hard to pick. It really is. Next up, we had the CLL International All-Star title was being defended by the masked Shinron, who was supposed to take on Leo Rush, the kid that won the Ring of Honor Top Prospect tournament, by beating the guy in the first match, Brian Fury.
Yep.
Leo got hurt the night before, and he had a big shiner and all that. Yeah, shoot.
Oh.
And Shinron came out and was like, when you become a real wrestler, because, it really was only facial. So I don't know if he had something cracked in his face or whatever, but Shinron kind of played into it. So when he comes back, they have a good match.
That's what you're supposed to do. That's right.
So they had an open challenge.
Oh.
And all of a sudden, the music hits, and here comes the Kentucky gentleman, Chuck Taylor.
Oh.
By himself, though. I was hoping for the Swamp Monster there. I was kind of hoping he was there. But Chucky didn't find out until midnight that night of the show.
Yep.
And he made it for a 5 o'clock show.
Wow.
And he lives down in Kentucky.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, so he drove straight up. He had to have been speeding like crazy.
You gotta fly. That's a long drive,
Lucky
man.
the cops didn't catch him. Chucky, you better be careful driving like that. But Shinron went over. It was a great match. Chucky's always fun to watch. Little comedy. Didn't do as much comedy as he usually does. Chucky likes to scare little kids. At Beyond Show, there's not many little kids there. There's no seats.
Right.
There's a few seats on like a little stage thing. Like if you buy a VIP ticket, you can sit up in the balcony, the loge or whatever, the balcony, or you can sit on the stage. If you're just a regular general admission, shit out of luck.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And you're standing all day. And I didn't know it until I got there. It was fine. It was a great show.
Good.
But so then we had Johnny Cockstrong, who I had never seen before, but he obviously is one of Beyond Wrestling's regular guys.
Okay.
Very funny. He comes out, he's got this thing like a jock strap on, he lights it up, and there's lights. It was pretty
crazy,
funny.
right?
Yeah. He was supposed to be a referee for Massage NV, which is Dorian Graves and what's his name? I'm gonna do it again.
I know, right?
But Dorian Graves and his partner. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Their gimmick is where they do massages and happy endings, and I think.
Oh my God!
I think they're
really?
gay.
I got you right.
You know what I mean? I think the gimmick is that they're gay.
Adorable Adrian Adonis.
Yeah, but they're not as feminine. It's weird. It's weird. But they took on Milk Chocolate, Dylan Summers and Brandon Watts. If you've never seen them,
no.
Wow.
No.
Talk about they're on the smaller side, but they're both jacked. Okay. And wow, they're really good. Well, Brandon got hurt that night and got taken to the hospital. Ooh. And supposedly, I read on the Beyond site that he's okay. Thank God, because I'll tell you, that kid's really good. He's the chocolate part of the team. The milk is Dylan Summers.
Okay, yep.
But and so they got interrupted by these guys called the Crusades for Change. It was Darius Carter. Those two. They wear half makeup on their faces. They're local guys too.
Oh.
But a bunch of guys. T.J. Marconi was another guy, and they came down and they ended up having the other two teams that were matching. Massage MV Envy, and Milk Chocolate and Johnny Cockstrong teamed up against the other 5.
Okay.
And I was kind of mad that the other guys went over because they really aren't nearly as good as the guys that lost.
Remember who was booking.
You know, it just I was kind of shocked that they went over.
Whoever the pencil is.
Yeah, and then I looked at the results later, and they've been winning all their matches, and I don't know, I didn't think they were that good. That's just me.
Yep.
You know, sorry guys, but maybe you'll impress me next time. Maybe you are that good. Maybe I just didn't see it this time. But I was following up as we had Suge D, who used to be Sugar Dunkinton, in Chikara, took on former Ultimate Fighter, the TV show, and UFC fighter Matthew Riddle.
Whoa.
And I'll tell you,
Matt Riddle.
Yeah, he's been trained. Did you know that? He trained down at the Monster Factory for Danny Cage. Danny Cage trained him for dude, he looked really good.
So I wonder if Meanie's been training him.
Probably. I'm sure he's had a hand in it.
Wow. See, if I'd known that, I would have. I would have talked to Blue about it.
Dude, he's unbelievable. He really is. He's pretty damn good. And he's got the MMA style.
Of course.
You know, standing around like he's fighting for MMA.
But how is his wrestling?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course he does submissions.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. But he went over, and he definitely impressed me. It was funny. We were standing in line, and all of a sudden I looked up. He was right there walking by. I'm like, Matt, can I have a picture? Yeah. Selfie.
Of course.
I didn't.
We'll get into that.
Yeah, we'll get into that. I didn't do what you were doing over
We'll get into that.
But it was really good. He was a nice kid. Got to talk to him afterwards, too. You know,
I liked him in UFC.
Yeah, me too. He's a pretty tough kid.
He's a
You
tough
know
kid.
why he stopped fighting in the UFC?
No.
He likes the ganj, dude. He likes the green
And
That's why.
Dana doesn't allow that.
Yeah, you can't do it.
Yep.
So he's like, you know something? I don't want to be an Ultimate Fighter then because I like to smoke the gun.
It's what it is. It's what
Matthew, I do too. But sorry, Mom. So next up was the main reason why I went to this Beyond Wrestling show. It was the Colony from Chikara. That's not the reason. I like the Colony.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. Soldier Ant, Silver Ant, and Red Ant.
Okay.
Took on Team Pazuzu. Have you seen Team Pazuzu?
No.
Angel Ortiz, Mike Drastic, and Jaka. They're
Whoa.
from New York.
I know Angel. Right.
Wow.
Ooh.
Wow. And that's the main reason why I went to the show, because I'd never seen Pazu. You know?
Yeah.
And so I saw them before the show, and I told them, I said, I'm here to see you guys. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I said, I'm really here to see. This is the reason why. I've seen you on YouTube and stuff, but I wanted to see you live. He's like, you're not going to be disappointed.
See,
I love
see that kind of confidence, brother?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yep. And it was
beautiful.
Great. They went over. They beat the Colony, and honestly, that could have been match of the night, too. It was a great match. About 15, 18 minutes. I mean, really.
Wow. That's pretty good.
It was awesome. And one spot, though, was funny. Somebody said something, and Angel Ortiz looks over, and he goes, I'm not a rocket scientist. So you know what I said? Exactly. You're from the project. What does he say? He looks at me. Exactly. I'm from the project. It was awesome. Everybody was laughing. But a great, great match. Team Pazuzu is phenomenal.
Yep.
Phenomenal.
Yep.
And I recommend anybody, if you haven't seen him or haven't heard of him, it's Team Pazuzu, Pazuzu. And Pazuzu is a project in the Bronx.
Oh, okay.
So, next up, we had Jonathan Gresham and Jordan Grace defeated Veda Scott and this guy, Ryan Gallioni. Ryan Gallioni reminded me of Sean Stasiak. And he reminded everybody else, too, because everybody kept yelling, meat.
Oh,
meat.
right.
And it was good. It was a good match. I'll tell you, Veda Scott, wow, man. I'm sorry, but nice bum.
Okay.
She does. She has
Doesn't make her a bad person.
Really nice bum.
Doesn't make her a bad person.
And so, you know, Grisham and Jordan Grace went over, and it was great. I'll tell you, one quick spot was awesome. Jordan Grace actually picked up Ryan Gallioni on her shoulders and then dropped him.
She's
stocky.
She's,
you know who she is?
She's no slouch, bro.
No, she's kind of thick. She's kind of thick.
You know what, though?
She's pretty.
She's very pretty girl.
She's very pretty.
She's a very pretty girl, and she is a worker, man.
Yeah. She picked him up first she went to pick him up the first time, and, you know, they stopped her.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden she went in and boom, picked him right up. Boop, dropped her on his back like a Samoan drop, kind of. It was pretty good. It was pretty impressive because, like I said, that kid Ryan Gallioni is a big dude.
Jordan Grace, she does a great job.
Yeah, she did. And they went over. They won. Next up was another reason why I kind of went there, too. Colt Cabana was there.
Oh,
and he took on Kimberly, who Kimberly has been a lot of fighting against a lot of men.
Yeah.
You want to talk about a funny match? You know, she chops Colt. Oh, well, my microphone. She chops Colt. Colt, he can't do it.
Oh.
And she gets mad, saying, and then people are yelling, she's a wrestler.
Right,
you know?
right. Yep.
And long story short, it went back and forth. Colt finally chopped fought back a little bit, but in the end, Kimberly pulled it off. And
Really?
Colt sat there and just was shocked.
You know, that goes to show you the kind of person Colt is, which we'll talk about again about Philly in a minute.
Well, I want to tell you a story after, too, about Colt from Sunday. But
Oh, okay, but I mean, he's a great worker, and my opinion, WWE screwed up.
Oh, totally.
Totally screwed up.
He should be one of their biggest stars right now.
Better believe it.
Especially with the network. He should have his own comedy show on there. I don't get it either.
I don't get it.
Me either.
Because that kid puts
got it all.
180% in, and they still didn't accept him for crazy. He's a great worker.
Yep.
He is intelligent, very intelligent kid too.
Very smart kid.
Very
smart.
intelligent kid.
Oh, he's a college boy. He went to college and everything too.
I don't know. Sometimes I don't see a dynamic on why WWE doesn't grab some of these guys, man.
He's the type of guy that, if, like, my dad's not a wrestling fan, right? If I were to say to my father, like, put about 4 guys in the ring, and my father would be like, that is what I'd consider a professional wrestler.
Exactly.
He looks the role.
And he plays the part.
Dude,
he plays the part every time.
Oh, my God. He's phenomenal.
Yep.
But real quick about that is, Colt, I met Colt a bunch of times, with the Ring of Honor. But when I did the Pro Wrestling Marathon thing for Spencer Jowitt's last year, Sarah was with me doing the concessions.
Yep.
And her and Colt and her friend Lexi were taking pictures with them and stuff. And so Colt remembered Sarah, and he asked me, he goes, how's your daughter? I said, she's doing good. He goes, how old is she anyways? I said, 14. She goes, so she was 13 when I met her? Wow. He's like, she's a really good kid. I said, thank you very much.
That goes to show you.
Oh, yeah.
What they remember.
Yep. So I turned around, and I ended up going back over. They had 2 intermissions. At the second intermission, I went over, and I was like, Colt, I want to buy a picture. Put it to Sarah, no H, because some people like to spell it
right.
S-A-R. I want to make sure he spelled it right. So he was like, hey, Sarah. And then he hands it to me, and he says, make sure you tell her I said hi. So I walked away. I took a picture, sent it to her, and said, hey, Colt said hi. She sends it right, texts me right back. Well, you tell him I said hi, too. I go right over to him. I show him, and he's like, that's awesome. He goes, that's great, man. That's cool. So I walked away, shook his hand, said thank you.
Great kid, man.
Great guy. Really like Colt a lot.
Definitely.
But like I said, Kimberly went over in a funny match. It was a fun match. Next up.
What do you mean next up? How long was this
show?
Oh,
dude. It was like, honestly, it started at 4 o'clock, and it got over at almost 9.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, dude. Like 4.5 hours. Two 15-minute intermissions.
Okay.
But next up was Death by Elbow. Chris Hero and JT Dunn.
Whoa.
Right? Taking on Monster Mac and Mafia.
No way.
Diet Squad.
No way.
Yeah. Talk about a good match.
That must have been a crazy match.
Unbelievable.
Because that's a back and forth match all night long.
That was a good 15, 18 minutes.
I mean, that's like, oh, wow. That's, 1, 2, 1, 2. That's just back and forth all night.
All night. Wow. And the spots, it's just too long to talk. They're unbelievable. Just like running it. Because Hero's a big dude, too.
Yeah, no kidding.
But Mafia's in Monster Mac. They're not as tall as Hero, but they're much wider.
Another guy, Vince screwed up.
Oh, yeah, but, but they asked him to lose weight and all that.
I know.
And get in shape.
I know.
And I hate to say it, but he's not there, and he's
know,
really out of shape the way he was.
Bro.
Oh, I agree. You don't have to be in that shape.
Better believe it.
But if you remember, he was heavier when he first started.
Yes.
And he got himself in phenomenal shape.
Yes, he did.
Phenomenal shape. But Triple H wanted more.
Of
why?
course.
I don't understand why, because he was in good shape. I was watching him as Cassius Ohno, and it was probably the best shape of his life.
I know. But I don't know if they wanted the more of that look,
Right.
Let's bring up a quick one. Look at what happened to Bull.
Yeah.
And I love Bull.
Yeah.
And we hung out with Bull.
Yeah, Bull's awesome.
He's a great guy.
We'll get to that in
But
a
you
minute.
know what? Like I said, for some reason, they seem to discard guys who, excuse the terminology, aren't in shape.
Right.
I'm not going to be politically correct.
No,
I'm going to be because you got people like Hero and Bull who weren't in. Let me use. How about Triple H shape?
Right.
Or,
yeah.
Let's that look. They're not in the Rock shape. They're not in Shawn Michaels shape. You know what though? One name. Go ahead. Ready?
Yeah.
Kevin Owens.
Yeah, Kevin Owens. You can even go back further. Look at all the other bigger guys back from like even from the 70s and 80s.
Right.
Not everybody was in shape like that. And I wouldn't want to see a whole wrestling card with guys like that. Wrestlers come in all shapes and sizes.
You want to see real professional wrestlers.
Yes.
Adrian Adonis.
Yeah.
Adrian Adonis back in the EWA, he was a little thinner.
Yeah.
But when he went out and started work for Vince,
yeah.
he was
still work.
He was huge. King Kong Bundy.
Yeah, they all could work.
Chris was an animal in the ring,
Yeah.
and he could work.
Of course he could. Yokozuna, one of the quickest big guys I've ever seen.
720 pounds.
Yeah, Vader was never like in perfect shape.
Nope, but you know what? Nothing like a 450-pound guy that can moonsault.
Yeah.
Ready? We'll go to the next one.
Yeah.
We'll go to Bam Bam Bigelow.
Right, exactly.
Who could outwork any
Anyone.
guy who was jacked
Yeah.
or do their thing.
He could wrestle his cartwheels, all of that stuff.
And you know what? I don't know why Vince, saw something in those guys, and Triple H is on the other side of the fence. I don't get it.
I don't either.
I don't know about you. I want to watch wrestling.
Right, me too.
I want to see guys who are
And
going to
they
go
come in all shapes
and
sizes.
bang heads.
Yeah.
That's why I love, and for 100 million times I'll say it, I love NXT.
Yeah, me too.
Now, watch NXT. If they put a 9-hour show on,
I'd watch it
I'm
all day.
calling into work sick,
yeah.
brother, because I'm
Oh,
going to
yeah.
watch. Or you know what? I'll put the network on my phone,
And just,
and I'll watch it all night long, all day long at work,
Yeah.
because NXT is where they go and they try hard,
Yes.
and they kill it down there. You said it best.
You should have saw the show that night. Back then.
Well, I saw a little of it
Yeah, okay.
last night.
Oh, yeah.
They
Right,
showed some
right.
clips. But you know what? I want to see guys who want to work, who want to do what they do, who do what they went to school for. Blue Meanie.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
bring up Blue Meanie.
Yeah.
Was Blue ever a jacked guy? Nope. But you know what?
Got
He
himself in shape at one time, though. He
exactly.
Did. He did.
And work is what you want to see. You want to see these wrestlers who exactly. He could.
I had to do it.
He
I
danced like
had
a
to
white
do
guy.
it.
Don't get me
It was
wrong.
great, though.
But you know what? It was fun. But he could also work in the ring.
Yes, he could.
So I don't understand
Another
where they
moonsault guy.
exactly, and I don't understand where they go from there
Right.
to here, and all of a sudden start getting rid of the guys who, and I'll use the terminology again, who are out of shape.
Right. He can work.
But
Chris Hero gets over everywhere he goes.
everywhere he goes,
Everywhere.
and he's an unbelievable worker,
He
man.
can go to any promotion, and within a week or two,
Boom.
2 matches,
Yep.
even 1 match,
Yep.
he's over with the fans.
In a second.
Most fans know who he is anyway.
Because they know who he is.
Yeah, of course.
Right.
But the Hit Squad won, which
Hit
was
Squad.
great to see because I hadn't seen Moff and Monster Mac wrestle
Right.
since Ring of Honor days.
Mhm.
Actually, I only seen them wrestle once as a tag team.
Right.
Because Moff went singles in Ring
Yep.
of Honor. But that was a good match. And then the main event was Chris Dickinson, who we actually saw in Philly
Yes.
also, against Donovan Dijak.
Whoa.
And talk about a good match, which went to a no contest because Death by Elbow decided to come in the ring.
Interrupt.
And it was funny. I'll tell you how it went down. JT Dunn comes in the ring,
Yep.
and he smacks Dickinson.
Okay.
And then he was already beaten on Dijak.
Mhm.
So then he looks, and Hero comes in the ring,
Yep.
and he's like, "What are you doing? We already had our match.
Yep.
Leave this alone. What are you doing? Stop it!"
Playing the game.
And as soon as Dijak came up, boom, with the elbow.
Yep.
Chris Hero hits him with the elbow. Down he goes, right? And they start pounding on him. Now, Dickinson's part of Team Pazuzu, but
Correct.
maybe he's not in Beyond Wrestling
Right.
because I'm yelling, "Pat, where are you? Come help him!"
Right. Yep.
They never came out. Whatever. It was a great show. I kind of was disappointed at the way it ended because I wanted to
Especially
see.
the main event. Why would you do
wanted
that?
to- I'm thinking maybe down the line, maybe in a show or two, we're going to see Chris Dickinson and Donovan Dijak team up against them.
Okay, yeah, I
which
see what you're
would be
saying.
a hell of a tag
Yeah, it'd
team.
be a great tag team.
Because Dickinson was awesome. It was really cool, real quick. When he got to the show, I went with my friend Dave and his son, and we walked in, and they were like, "Oh, I'm just going to stay in here for a minute." So I said, "I'm going to go look around at the tables." And Dickinson was in the corner, and I went over, and he recognized me
Yep.
and he's like, "What's up?" And he stops the kid he's talking to, shakes my hand, and he says, "Wait a minute," and he's talking to some guy, and he comes around. He's like, "So what do you cater that, Sean?" I told him. So we just talked real quick.
That's awesome.
He's like, "Great to see you again." I said, "Awesome to see you. I can't wait to see you and your boys wrestle and stuff."
know.
He's like, "Oh, man, where do you see
I
those
know.
guys?" He said, "I know you saw me the other night, but where do you see these guys?" But great show. I recommend Beyond Wrestling to anybody. And if you're going to go, you better get your tickets early because they sell out every show. Last show before this, I tried to go.
Sold out.
I couldn't get a ticket. And I'll tell you, you should go.
Nice.
So, Denver, Colorado, Drew Cordero, that's your real name, I think. You put on a great show, and I will be back. And, I'd really like to have you on this show if you'd like to come down. He's from Providence, Rhode Island.
Okay.
It's not that far, but maybe we could Skype him if we could, But I'd really like to have you on the show. I think your product is unbelievable. As Derek said, as I watched one of our shows last night, if I had 8 thumbs like Derek, I would
right.
give 8 thumbs up for sure.
Definitely.
Great show. Thank you very much.
Excellent.
So now, I guess we can move on to our Philadelphia
Oh,
trip.
my God, man.
Driving down there, it didn't really seem like that bad. I mean, we left in the middle of the night,
Yep.
2 o'clock in the morning. You know, we left. I left my magazines at home. I went back to have to go get my magazines.
Yep.
But luckily, we didn't even leave Nashua yet.
I know.
So it wasn't bad.
Nope.
You know?
Yep.
But we got there. You were a little tired, dude. I couldn't.
No, I wasn't tired.
Dude,
I wasn't tired at all.
If I would have known, though, that I didn't even know until I'm halfway down that you didn't sleep
All right,
that night.
let me shoot with you for a minute. Let me
Yeah.
shoot. So where we went is called House of Hardcore. And House of Hardcore is in the 2300 arena, which is the original ECW arena.
Yes.
ECW is where I started from 98 to 01. So he's telling me that I get a chance to go and see all the guys I worked with all through those years. So I says, all right, yeah, I'm excited. So, of course, I got up Friday morning. My usual time, I get up about 5:30. And, of course, couldn't sleep anyway. So I worked all day. And then he says, oh, I'll take a nap or something.
I told you I was taking a nap, and I did.
Sure, I'll take a nap. Yeah, right. So I get down to my favorite cigar place, Castro's Back Room, Main Street. Love it. Love you, Eric.
You watching hockey?
Sorry, of course.
Yeah.
And started watching some hockey, started doing some things. I just sat at Castro's all night because I couldn't even think about going to sleep or doing anything.
So excited.
I was just so excited.
I
So
was
somewhere around midnight comes, and I says, you know what? I got to go get my bag. So I left Castro's Back Room, Main Street, Nashua, and I went home. I had my bag. I grabbed my bag. I went in my truck, and I went to his house. So now I remember what I said. I started at 5 a.m.
Yeah. Now it's almost 2 a.m.
So now it's almost 2 a.m., technically Saturday morning. And he says, would you drive down because I can't see at night? Of course I will. How many times have I driven to the
Everywhere.
ECW arena no matter what? How many times
right.
have I driven down there? So I drove all night, all morning, shall we say. Let me use that terminology.
Till about what, 6:30?
About
Right?
6:37-ish.
That's when I realized you needed a break.
So as soon as the light came up, shall we say, the sun come up, I went over and went into the passenger seat and fell asleep for 35 minutes because Mr. Leo knew where he was going, but we didn't know that there was a crazy, we're going to just fix this road all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So I get woken up by being thrown all over the car, and I wake up and I go, what are you doing? He's like, look at it. And I saw the signs, and I look up, and we're in Pennsylvania already. I'm like, oh, great. It's 7:30 in the morning. I just slept like 35 minutes. Okay, great. So we get to the arena. We do all our thing, and probably somewhere, Isaiah was not feeling well, but I don't know.
That was later.
Somewhere about the midnight era of Sunday.
Oh, you were out.
Is when I finally fell asleep.
He was like out. And when he went out, he didn't hear nothing, man. Me and Jaize were talking and all that. Jaize got sick. He didn't even know.
No.
Jaize was throwing up like crazy.
I was out cold.
And you know what's funny? I don't know if you know this, but the next day I got sick. I didn't go to work Monday. I went to work Monday, opened the building, called my boss, and said, you got to send somebody here. It had to have been the Burger King when he left to go get the meatballs.
Oh, see, that's why I don't
Maria
eat that
doesn't
stuff.
see this show.
That's why I don't eat that stuff, guys. That's why I don't eat it in
Right.
those places.
Well, Jaize was like, Poppy, I know we can have a sandwich later, but I kind of want a burger. So
I'm telling
I was
you.
like, all right. Yeah, I hear you.
So let's get into what
All
we
right.
did, brother.
So we get down there. We go into the building. We get there, and I text Rob.
Yep.
And he says, yep, don't worry about it. Just text me when you get
Line
to the door. Line
was-
around the corner.
It started at the door because they weren't opening yet. It went from just like an ECW show, and trust me, if you want to Google ECW and ECW Arena in downtown Philly, 2300 Arena, let me tell you right now, it always started that way. It starts at the door and goes all the way around the building. So when we pulled up, the cars are everywhere to find a place to park. So we go up and we find, the boss, the guy who actually is working for.
Get at the tickets.
He goes, boom, come on in, no problem.
Yep.
So we started walking around and doing our thing. And unbelievable
Who
that.
was the first person you saw?
When we
Was it
walked.
Meanie?
Well, when we walked in,
Yeah.
because I went up the stairs, I didn't realize who was over here.
Right.
I walked into the left, and who did I bump into? My buddy Brian, a.k.a. the Blue Meanie.
I thought that was the first person
Yeah, and
you
Brian's
saw.
like, oh, my God, D.
Yeah.
Grabs me, we talk for a minute. And as I'm talking to Meanie, I didn't realize what was going on, and I get nudged, and I turn, and it's Guido.
Yep.
Nuncio from WWE, little Guido from ECW. And we're all hitting it for a minute. Now we got 3 ECW guys just standing there talking about old school, and I get nudged again. And there's the franchise, Shane Douglas.
Yep.
So I'm standing there with 3 ECW guys that I worked with up and down the road for all those years.
That's awesome.
And it was just a homecoming. It was unbelievable. So, of course, we do our separate thing because they're doing their thing. They're signing autographs, taking pictures, doing their thing.
And I went my way. You let you talk to your friends.
Well,
Me and Isaiah took a walk around.
Because
you
you
know
were
what
with
I mean?
him, and I
Yep.
wanted him
Yeah.
to, of course, you
Oh,
wanted
yeah.
him to get a lay of the land.
Right.
So I walked down the end, and who do I bump into? Rob Van Dam.
Yep.
Big hug from Rob.
Wait, you tell him what he did for me.
Oh, my
after.
God,
You'll
I know.
Tell that later.
Hey,
But
like,
that was
you know,
crazy,
what's up,
man.
brother?
So
How you
cool.
doing? So on and so forth. And who's sitting next to Rob is Booker T from the WWE.
Yeah. That was awesome to see.
And
him.
it was unbelievable to see Booker T. Shook his hand. I said, pleasure to meet you. I met him a few times, but I don't know him personally. And that whole table, that whole back wall, was
Kurt
just
Angle.
full of crazy people.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you even recognized Bobby Heenan was there.
Yeah, I did. I really wanted to go over,
Man,
but
I couldn't do it.
either. I couldn't either. And I really wish I did, because you know what I mean.
I know.
Because you really should. I was hard, and it's not that. It's just that.
Just seeing him like that.
It's just hard for me. I love the guy
If you,
so much, and it's such a shame.
was
Like, what people say, there's
terrible.
really a God, right?
Right.
Why do you do something like that to that
So,
person like him?
What we'll do with the fans. So back in the 70s, 80s, there was if you're a wrestling fan, you know Bobby the Brain Heenan.
One of the best.
One of the best in the world.
Of all time.
Bobby was very avid cigar smoker. But Bobby wasn't like a cigar smoker like I am, because I don't inhale, because that's crazy. Well, he inhaled. So cancer after cancer after cancer of the throat, of the mouth, of
And
this, of that.
So he does
He's-
not.
He's got no jaw.
Yeah.
So
It's
if you want
hard.
to Google this, please, Bobby the Brain Heenan, then and now, do me a favor and please Google it. It'll. I'm not trying to make you sad, but let me
No.
tell you, when you see this, you'll
But
see
it is sad.
it is very sad. He's got no bottom jaw, and his face is caved in because of all the time they had to go in and take his cheekbones out and do this and do that. He can't speak. It was so bad. And like you said, we should have, but I just couldn't do it.
I
couldn't
either.
do it.
Next time, though, if I ever
Next
see
time,
him again,
you know
I have
what?
to
I'll go shake his
because
hand, definitely.
We gotta, because I felt so bad that I didn't go over.
I know.
You know what I mean? I really did. And there was a line. There was a bunch of people over
my
there seeing
God.
him. Don't get me
It was-
wrong.
oh, yeah.
So we would have to wait anyway.
Definitely.
But I mean, I really wasn't. Isaiah's not a patient kid when it comes to that. So when he, real quick, we got to meet Shawn Michaels at the end.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
And I waited till the end.
Yep.
And we were the last ones there, and I blew it because Rob was standing there. It was just me, Isaiah, and Shawn. And I could have got in a picture.
Right.
I didn't.
Right.
Like, I'm an idiot. I do
know.
that all the time. I always say afterwards, why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do that?
Right.
And I did it again.
But you know what, though? You were there.
Yeah. And it was funny because, listen, Rob's got to charge for something. Sean's a very expensive guest.
Oh, you got to
So
imagine.
the combo was $100.
Okay.
I got the combo for $60.
Hey,
So, you know what I mean?
it is what it is.
It is what it is, and I was glad to pay that. So I was kind of standing back trying to get that picture anyways, and Rob's like, Leo, you don't have to come here.
Right.
He's like, get over here.
Right.
Take the picture better. Don't worry about it, buddy. And I waited till the end for that reason. I didn't want to pay the $100. I didn't. And Rob even told me, he goes, if you would have came even earlier, dude, I wasn't going to charge you the $60.
Right.
You would have just paid the $60.
Yep.
And he said, I'm sorry, I have to charge it. I said, listen, he goes, you don't know how much Sean is. Sean's a lot of money.
I mean, he's
But Rob's a
WWE
great guy.
Hall of Famer.
Hall of Fame. I don't know. To me, Ric Flair's great and all that too, really. But to me, I don't know. Sean is the greatest worker I've ever seen. That's just my opinion. Everybody has their own.
WWE best. Yes.
I
definitely.
think the best of all time
Yeah.
in-ring worker.
Yeah, definitely.
You know,
Yep.
and the girls loved him.
Yep.
The guys liked him.
Yep.
You know what I mean? The kids loved him. And he was so nice to Jaizav. He was very cool. You know,
Always
I
good
was-
with the kids, no
yeah,
matter what.
And it was just awesome. You know, real quick, I got to meet Mil Mascaras,
Oh, my
guy
God.
that I loved my whole life, and I know. I hear all the stories how he's not very nice
He's
guy.
mean, he's this.
Yeah. Well, this guy's been over in the United States for like 50 years, and he still pretends like he can't speak English. You know?
yeah.
Thanks a lot, Bill.
That's
but
his-
thanks for the picture, because I'll cherish that forever, because
Yep.
I always have the memory of you standing on your tippy toes, sucking in your gut, taking that
So
with the jacket on, like
Yes.
taking the first mask off and having the
So
second one
now
on.
remember, you technically went to the show for 3 people.
Yeah.
All right.
And we got them all.
So 1 was Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
2 was Mil.
Yeah.
Who was the 3rd one?
Stan the Man Hansen. And you know something? You know what was really good? He didn't know there was food in the back.
Right. So let's shoot for a minute.
All right.
Okay. So I'm out back and I'm helping him out do his thing.
Oh, all of a sudden, here we
And
come.
I got my back, to the hallway, and I'm helping out. I was talking to another wrestler or something. And I turn around, I hear a voice, and I see Leo. And I don't, maybe because I didn't sleep, I thought I could have sworn that I saw Stan Hansen
Stan Hansen.
walking with Leo.
Yeah.
So I'm going,
And it was
and he walks right up, and he's letting them know there's food there. And, of course, I'm in shock. Now, yes, I've been a professional wrestler. I've been there. There are just some guys that you will forever mark out to, even as a professional. Yeah. And this guy, another guy you want to Google, trust me, please do, Stan the Lariat.
One of the greatest of all time.
And he's sitting there, and he had his cowboy hat on, and I was just...
Big hands, huh?
Oh,
like
my...
His hands are gigantic.
Hands like mitts. So I said, sir.
Yep.
And I did.
You did.
Never disrespect.
You did.
Never disrespect, especially a legend. I said, sir, pleasure to meet you. And my hand disappeared. Now, this guy, what is he? In his, seriously, 60s?
No, he's close to 70.
Is he really?
He's close to
my
70.
hand disappeared in this man's grip, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Just unbelievable. And he was very humbled. He's like, oh, my.
So humble.
He was like, wow, really? Thank you so much. I go, no, please, thank you.
Yeah.
So, is there anything we can do for you? And all night long, I kept doing this to him. So, all night, Leo and I would do something. I'd go, yeah, I was doing a demo, and I'd go, Leo, is that Stan? Is that Stan right there?
Yeah, I think so.
No. Is that really him?
Yep.
I did it to him all night long
it was
because
so funny.
That's his favorite guy. That's really, and it's the guy he really got to hang out with that night. It was pretty cool.
I couldn't believe I got to hang out with him. Like, seriously.
You, me both.
I brought him down.
It was nuts.
And then I told him, I showed him Jade was sleeping. I said, when he wakes up, can I bring him by for a picture? Absolutely. And he signed a picture of, I brought a bunch of magazines. We'll tell you a quick story about RVD in a minute. I'll let him tell that one.
Yep.
Because I wasn't even there.
Yep.
But I took the magazine and it had a thing with Bruno and him.
Yep.
They had the Shea Stadium match.
Wow.
And they had pictures of when he broke his neck, too. And he's looking at it. He's like, wow. And he signed it for me. And I must have shook his hand and thanked him 20 times. Seriously.
Probably 100 knowing you.
And I even got to ask him a question. I asked him that. Remember when WCW did the thing? They're looking for Stan Hansen?
Yes.
Blackbot.
Yes.
And all those guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, did you really stay in Japan because you didn't like it?
This is a shoot, by the way.
He said, yeah. He goes, I didn't like it. He goes, I said, who was it? He said, it was Blackbot. And the other guy was, come on, Blackbot.
Like, again, another guy.
No,
we
but
apologize.
I know who
we'll
it
get
is, though.
We'll get it.
But whatever. And he said, I didn't feel it. I didn't feel the gimmick. I didn't like it. You know what I mean? He said a few other things, and I'm going to leave it at that.
Yep,
so,
exactly.
But it said a few things to me, and I'm going to leave it. I told you. You
unbelievable.
Know what I mean?
Unbelievable.
But, like, he just was incredible, He was so thankful and gracious with, I gave him the food.
He was unbelievable.
And afterwards, when I brought Jaize over, he goes, man, that was the best roast beef I ever had. I said, seriously? He goes, yeah. I said, that's right. And I said to Jaize as we walked away, I said, he thinks I made that. That was Frank at Milano's. It wasn't even me that made the roast beef. It was my buddy Frank. That's all right.
Thanks, Frank.
Thanks, Frank.
There you go.
Thanks. I'll thank you again at the end of the
I know we're kind of all over the place with this thing, but it was really good.
Fun.
It was fun for both of us because it was a homecoming for me.
Yeah.
I finally got to take my picture in front of the ECW wall. Right. And I was almost in tears. I really was because Shane and them and
so cool
I told you, these are my guys, man.
So nice
you wonder why the ECW locker room when I worked there was a loving locker room. Right. And please don't take that as a
if they do, they're
right,
crazy.
They're crazy.
Come on,
what I mean by that is a lot of locker rooms in professional wrestling, they're kind of cutthroat and back in the day, like you heard of the Click and so on and so forth, they had a lot of that stuff, like these guys over here, these guys sit over here, these guys sit over here. So the ECW locker room wasn't like that. We were all together. We were a team.
Yeah, you were a family.
We were a family. It's exactly what we were because
we say it on all the shoots.
We would kill each other. And that's what we do. But you know what? It was just so good to be there with my guys and see these guys and so on and so forth.
They were so
But let's get into Rob real quick.
All right. So Rob Van Dam, I brought a bunch of magazines down to get signed. You know what I mean? So I put them on the table, and I let Derek know in case I'm not here when guys come by. So I come back, and Derek's like, look at this. And he shows me. Now, I had 5 magazines with Rob on the cover. Now, I figured if I could get a couple signed by him, that would be great. He signed all 5, right?
But
with different Sharpies.
Constant,
he went into his bag.
Constant professional.
This will look good in blue.
Yep.
This will look good in silver. And, I mean, he didn't have to do that.
And I was,
he did not
no,
have
he
to
didn't.
do that.
And I was, rapping a little bit with him. We were talking about old days and so on and so forth. And I says, Rob, you do me a favor. I said, I almost forgot it. My buddy brought all these books. I said, could you sign them for me? He goes, of course, no problem. And that's Rob. So he walks up, and, of course, you had a red, right?
Yeah.
So he had a red, but he saw all the ones that he had. He goes, wait a minute. Rob goes down into his bag, takes out his gimmick bag.
He's got a whole bunch of them,
and he
right?
sees the PWI one. He goes, oh, no, you know what? This will look good in blue.
Oh, the one in green. The green magazine. Yeah.
He saw the
he
green.
was number 1, the PWI 500.
Boom, he signed that one. And, you know what? ECW one, I think that'll look good in gold.
Yep.
And he signed it in gold.
Was
He was just
awesome.
unbelievable. Every signature for every book had a different color. That's constant professional, but that also goes to show you what kind of person he
Right.
is.
And, I thanked him about it. I did. I thanked him for it. And he's like, no problem, man. Glad to, thanks for the food and all that. He just was friggin' awesome.
It was so good to see all these guys, and let me bring up a person that I don't know, which I'm kind of glad, and I'm going to shoot on this show.
Yep.
So you and I have talked about the TNA Wrestling Women's Division.
Yeah.
And I told you, we talked about what was her name again? I'm sorry.
Jade.
Jade, thank you. So I wasn't a big fan of Jade's because I thought she was kind of sloppy and so on and so forth, but I've been watching Impact for the women's division.
She had a good match that night.
She really did too. And the women's division is very solid over in TNA now, which thank God it is.
Yeah.
And I happened to see her, and I've never met her before, so I walked up to her and I introduced myself. But I also introduced myself because she was trained at the Dudley School.
Right.
And my roommate, which we talk about all the time, was the Irish Jack. Was the second person ever to join that.
I feel like I know the guy.
I know,
I've
right?
never met him.
So I walked up to her and I said, Jade, let me introduce myself. I said, I'm Irish Jack's roommate. And she looks at me. She goes, no. She gave me a big hug, and we talked for a minute. And I said, you know what? I just messaged him. And he said, you're not hanging with her. So I started this thing that night, and we're going to get into that right now. He's going to love this. So I started the thing that night.
This was good.
Listen, pictures are cool when you sit next to someone and you take a picture. But you know what's even funnier, shall we say? How about someone like photobombing you? So what I did was I had Jade stand behind me, and I had my phone, and I made it, and she came up behind me and like stuck out her tongue, and I took the picture and I sent it to my roommate. And of course, a few minutes goes by, and he goes, "Get the hell out of here!" And so I told Leo, I said, "I got all these guys; these are my friends. But you know what? Let's do this." So all night long, I had them photobomb me instead.
It's great pictures. They all came out awesome.
Listen, there are a few like my buddy Shane Douglas, the franchise. I'm Dynamite Derek Duke, so I'm D3. Well, he had a group in ECW that was called the Triple Threat. And every time they come out, they did this.
Yeah.
And two of the Triple Threat are now deceased.
Yes.
Go rest their soul.
Yes.
So I finally...
Chris's birthday today.
I know, and
So
I don't know if you saw my thing
Chris
today.
Candido's birthday today. Happy birthday.
And it was... we'll get to that in one second. I don't want to start.
Oh, yeah. No,
And
don't worry about it.
and so it was really cool to do that with him because I never got a chance to, because you still have to stay in character when you were working. We weren't working. We were just backstage having a great time at House of Hardcore.
Yeah.
So I finally got to do that with him, and that was an honor to me because Shane goes way back in the business to
awesome.
just
He was
unbelievable.
such a great guy.
Unbelievable. And
You were talking to him when I came over, and he was so nice.
just
to
a
me.
great person
But
all
I
in all.
don't want to interrupt you. I'm sorry. I just had to say that.
No, and I
He was.
appreciate that.
He
But
was.
why don't we bring that up real quick? That my trainer, brother, friend, Chris Candido, in 2005, he passed away of very kind of weird circumstances when it came to he wasn't he wasn't supposed to fly, and he did fly, and they weren't supposed to, so he had something wrong with his leg. When they opened up his leg, the blood clot went from his leg where they opened up to his heart and killed him instantly.
He was a hell of a
And he
worker.
was only in his 30s when he passed away, guys.
He's making a comeback.
And he was actually working for TNA at the time.
Yeah.
And he was one half of the TNA World Tag Team Champions.
Yes.
So I do want to say that, again, my trainer, friend, my brother, Chris Candido, I miss you, bro. I miss the road. I miss our stories. I miss talking stories about you.
Everybody says
and I
good
still
things
do,
about him.
and I always will. And you know what? Happy birthday, brother. Love you.
Nice.
But we had a great time.
Yeah, I want to tell
Philly,
a story about Jade too. Jade was real excited because Homicide was going to be there in Eddie Kingston.
I love D.
Last time when we catered House of Hardcore 5, it was me, Maria, and Jade.
Yep.
And Jade had some tinfoil around his wrist, and we were outside, and they were falling off. And Eddie came over and said, "Let me fix them for you, buddy." And he took the time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, "Wow, that's I like that guy.
Yep.
Who is he, Poppy?" So we came home. I showed him all videos and stuff, and he got to meet Homicide, put the mask on him and stuff.
Yep.
It was just, a great day for Jade.
Good stuff.
So we went to Jade, and I said, "Is Eddie here?" And she said, "Yeah, he's supposed to be down here. I just texted him. He's upstairs in the locker room." I said, "Well, this guy's waiting to see him." She's like, "Oh, you like Eddie?" And he's like, "Yeah, I like him. He's one of my favorite wrestlers." She's like, "Well, he's coming down." So she must have seen him.
Yep.
Because when we turn the corner, and there he is. and he like runs over to, what's up, buddy?
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, how you doing? He made Isaiah feel like it was his best friend.
See, that's
You know?
unbelievable.
And Homicide did too.
That's unbelievable, man.
Those guys are just like fantastic
Top-notch guys.
man. Fantastic guys.
I love D. Always
did
have.
you see? Remember, I was wearing my Red Sox World Series shirt. So as soon as I seen him, right? I came out, I said, you know I'm wearing this for you, right? He's like, you bastard. He comes over, gives me a hug, and I'm laughing, you know?
Yep.
I'm like, you know, I'm wearing it for you. And he's got his Yankee hat on. But great people, man.
Yeah.
I mean, really,
Definitely.
really great people. To take the time out for, you know, to a little kid that they only met once before.
Yep.
But they really liked them, though, because the first time, like I said, he put the mask on Jaize. He was laughing. I got all kinds of pictures with that. And he's like, literally, I'm taking the picture. Jai's got the mask on, and Homicide's looking at him, laughing his ass
That's
off.
awesome, man.
It's just real good people,
Yeah.
you know. And Jade was very nice. Tia Trinidad was nice.
Oh, my God. You know,
She's beautiful.
I told you.
SoCal Val. How can we not mention her? She was
Val.
phenomenal. She watched Jaize while he was sleeping
She
for
was
me.
unbelievable. And Val, of course, Val and I go back to TNA, and she was so cool to hang out with. And we had some words.
First time I met her.
And I know that
She was so nice.
And I told you she was super awesome.
Yeah.
Plus, beautiful woman.
Oh, yeah, beautiful.
Completely
After
beautiful.
She watched Jaize, though.
I
She's
know.
Like, I'll watch him. Don't
Yep,
worry
she
about
was
while we're
unbelievable.
sleeping. When I was taking pictures with her and Giant, she's funny, you know what I mean?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
silly. I take one picture, I take another picture, because you
Yep.
don't want to make sure they both go through. She said, "Oh, take one more." She looks at Jaize and says, "Do this." And she makes a pig face. Now, what beautiful woman does?
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Yep.
She's just silly.
And she's awesome.
And she's awesome. She was awesome. She thanked me. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I got a picture of her, and man, she's a beautiful girl.
Yep.
Mickey James.
Oh, Mickey was unbelievable,
Oh,
too.
real quick. I said this last week, though. Jaize gets the picture taken with her. We walk away, and he goes, Poppy. He's like trying to get my attention. I'm like, yeah, what, buddy? She's smoking hot. I'm like, yeah, you think,
Yep.
buddy? Yes, she is smoking
Beautiful
hot.
woman.
And then I told him about real quick. I said, I took pictures of her when she was in Ring of Honor as Alexis Lurie.
Right.
And I got a picture standing there. And Michael, my son, he's got a picture with her. She hugged him. I didn't get no hug. And I said that last week. I didn't get no hug. But Michael
Yep,
did.
better believe it.
You know, but great people. I'm hoping, real quick, Tommy Dreamer announced at that show
Yes.
that he's going to run monthly,
Yes.
worldwide.
Yep.
So we got to hope that we'll be catering one
Oh,
more
my
time
God.
when he comes to Beantown.
Oh, if he comes here,
You know I'm doing it if he comes to
You better
Beantown.
believe
Maria
it.
already said, she's like, if he
Better
comes to
believe it.
Boston, of course you're doing it.
you know, brother, we could probably do this
Oh,
whole House of Hardcore all night, and I think next week we should start with the House of Hardcore,
Yeah, finish it up.
finish it up,
Yeah,
and
then we'll go from there.
I think we had a great time tonight. Good to see you again, my
You
brother.
too, brother.
Salute
In
to you.
fact, it's been a few
Salute.
weeks since we were able to do it together.
Ben,
2
yes.
weeks ago, I was catering, getting my stuff ready. Derek got stuck in it for me.
Yep.
Did it by himself. He couldn't make it last week, so I brought Jaize. But we will be bringing Jaize. I love you, buddy, and you'll be doing it with us this summer. But I want to do a quick plug.
No, we're Audi 5.
All right. Listen.
Ready?
All right. Peace.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.